know how to say this nicely as well, but why do they feel so entitled?
Why do they think we feel entitled?
How can you get millennials and boomers to work together? Like, where's the junction, I guess?
Great question. So I run a market research polling firm here in Ottawa, Advocacy Data. One of the things that we focused on over the last 6 years, in part because almost my whole team are millennials. I'm 34, if you can believe it, years old. Was we felt that there was a real gap in Canada on research among Canadian millennials. Lots of research in the United States, plenty of research in Europe, but we really didn't know whether Canadian millennials were different, whether their values, whether their circumstances were different from Americans. And so that's really our mission.
For the past 6 years, I've traveled all across North America sharing insights on my generation, the Millennials. I've shared my perspective on my generation with dozens of organizations who value my data-driven, Canadian-focused content. By focusing on the generational differences and similarities that matter, I work to help bridge the gap between generations. My audiences leave with tangible and actionable insight they can use to empower their organizations to succeed in a millennial-dominated world.
What I try to do is not come in here and say, all you boomers are wrong and millennials are right, or to say that millennials are a bunch of entitled, lazy narcissists and, deal with it. What I try to do is try to build a bridge and try to understand and demystify some of the generations. They represent over a quarter of the population. And in just 4 years, in 2020, they're going to make up a plurality of the workforce. 5 years after that, they're going to be a majority. For all the baby boomers in the room who have millennial children or have influenced the lives of millennials, I don't want to say it's your fault. But you all, by laughing, know it is your fault. But all the great things about us, our tolerance, our desire to be collaborative, our desire to feel connected, comes from the values that you've shared with us. We're seeing accelerated maturity from a physiological point of view. Kids are maturing much faster today, but this delay into adulthood, it's affecting consumer markets, it's affecting employment markets, it's affecting everything. That 25-year-old who may have finished their first post-secondary degree, maybe in their second, is coming into your office, or maybe a member of your association, who has very different needs and very different situation than that 25-year-old did 2 decades ago. And that's important to consider. This feature article came out a few years ago, and it says, the me generation. Millennials are lazy narcissists who still live with their parents. And then the subheading was, why they're going to save the world.